Through Imperial eyes, British encounters with Dera Ismail Khan and its people. The arid plains and bustling caravan routes surrounding Dera Ismail Khan, D.I. Khan, served as a critical gateway between the Indian subcontinent and Central Asia, attracting the keen interest of British colonial officers throughout the 19th century. Their accounts, pioneered by explorer administrators like Mountstuart Elphinstone, solidified by soldier statesmen like Herbert Benjamin Edwards, and codified by later ethnographers like Edward E. Oliver, provide invaluable, albeit imperialistic windows into the region's complex social fabric, political dynamics, and cultural landscapes during a period of profound transformation. These narratives not only documented, but also actively shaped colonial policy towards this strategically vital frontier zone. 1. Mountstuart Elphinstone. First glimpses of a crossroads. Elphinstone's mission, ostensibly aimed at securing an alliance with Shah Shuja of Kabul against Napoleon, became a foundational ethnographic survey of the northwest frontier. Crossing the Indus at Laya in 1809, his party spent a significant month in Dera Ismail Khan, then part of the Durrani Empire. The allure of the Pawindars. Elphinstone was captivated by the Pawinda nomads traversing the region. He meticulously described their massive caravans moving between Afghanistan and the Indus Plains via the Gomal Pass, highlighting their critical role in trans-regional trade. Their distinctive Caucasian features and perceived martial independence fascinated him, leading to comparisons with Europeans and sparking a romanticized Kipling-esque British fascination with Pashtuns that would endure for decades. D.I. Khan, a strategic and cultural nexus. He observed D.I. Khan not as a major power center, but as a vibrant trading hub prospering from its location on the Multan to Kandahar route. His writings noted the mixed population Baloch settlers established by earlier rulers alongside dominant Pashtun tribes like the Karoti and Miankhels in Draban, and older Jat communities along the riverine plains. Takhta Suleiman and the white man's curiosity, reflecting the era's blend of exploration and intelligence gathering, members of Elphinstone's mission, including Lieutenant Harris, ventured from D.I. Khan towards Draban and attempted an ascent of the formidable Takhta Suleiman mountain in winter, a feat noted with local astonishment. This act symbolized the beginning of direct British physical engagement with the Suleiman Range and its people. 2. Herbert Benjamin Edwards, soldier, administrator, and etymologist. Edwards arrived in a region boiling with rebellion following the annexation of Punjab. His actions were military and administrative, but his observations, particularly during the Second Anglo-Sikh War, were deeply ethnographic. Stationed initially in Banu, his decisive role in the siege of Multan brought him into close contact with the D.I. Khan district. The hero of Multan and Draban's name, Edwards's most enduring contribution to the region's history lies in his documentation of Draban, Daraban. In his seminal work, A Year on the Punjab Frontier, he explicitly rejected the popular myth linking the name to Dara Shikoh. Drawing on local knowledge, he recorded its origin as Duribund, the closed pass. He explained that the Miankhel Pashtuns, settling in the area to counter raids from the Sherani tribe inhabiting the hills, strategically closed a key mountain pass, likely the Zam Pass. Over time, Duribund evolved into Draband and then Draban, marking the Miankhel territory. His consistent use of Draband in 1848 to 49 provides strong historical weight to this etymology. Detailed geography and prosperity. Edwards provided a precise geographical sketch of the Draban region, about 12 miles by 21, describing it as more undulated towards the hills compared to neighboring areas like Gundapur. He noted its cheerful and prosperous appearance, attributing this to abundant trees and vegetation surrounding villages, suggesting successful agriculture despite the arid climate. Ancient mounds and strategic value. He documented significant archaeological features, notably a large rain-furrowed mound near the Lohara River, locally called Dera. Edwards speculated this could be a remnant of Greco-Bactrian outposts, underscoring the region's ancient significance as a corridor. Foundation of colonial administration. As one of the first deputy commissioners after formal annexation, Edwards was instrumental in establishing the early colonial administrative framework in the Dera Ismail Khan division, setting the stage for the formal structures Oliver would later observe. 3. Edward E. Oliver, systematizing knowledge in the High Colonial Era, c. 1884. Oliver's Across the Border, or Patan and Baloch, published 1890, reflecting work circa 1884, represents a later phase of colonial engagement. By this time, the British administration was more entrenched, and the focus shifted towards systematic documentation and understanding for governance. Ethnographic catalogue. Oliver's work functioned as an intelligence report masquerading as ethnography. He meticulously catalogued the Patan and Baloch tribes around Dia Khan, DG Khan detailing their origins, customs, allegiances, and political natures. Impact of colonial infrastructure. During Oliver's times or afterwards, Dera Ismail Khan saw visible impact of colonial rule. Britain established the Dera Ismail Khan Cantonment in 1894. This occurred after the city was made the divisional capital of the new Dera Ismail Khan Division. British colonial administrative offices, like the Assistant Commissioner, and infrastructure projects like roads and bridges, historic Frontier Constabulary, FC, forts and colonial-style guest houses were built in Draben around 1890 to 1900, the symbols of enduring British power. Frontier governmentality in action. Oliver's work epitomized the colonial strategy of frontier governmentality, the belief that effective control over restive border regions like D.I. Khan depended on deep, systematic ethnographic and geographic knowledge to manage tribal populations indirectly. His book became part of the essential toolkit for British political officers administering the northwest frontier. Table. Key British officers and their contributions to understanding D.I. Khan region, officer period, primary role, key observations, contributions, major work, Mount Stuart Elphinstone, diplomat, explorer, documented Pawinder nomads, Multan Kandahar trade route, mixed population, Baloch, Pashtun, Jat. First British ascent attempt on Takhta Suleiman. Herbert B. Edwards, soldier administrator, recorded etymology of Draban, Durubund, described geography, prosperity, noted ancient mounds, Dare, key role in Multan siege. Edward E. Oliver, c. 1884, political officer says ethnographer systematically catalogued Patan, Baloch tribes, origins, customs, politics, documented British troubled relationships with various Pashtun mountain tribes, Sheranis, Bazirs, and Masuds. Reflections on people and culture, commonalities, and evolution. Across these accounts, spanning 76 years, several consistent themes emerge regarding the officer's views on the region and its people. 1. Tribal primacy. All three officers centered their analysis on tribal structures, Pashtun and Baloch, as the fundamental units of social, political, and military organization. Loyalty, conflict, and identity were understood primarily through this lens. 2. The martial race paradigm. They shared, to varying degrees, a fascination with the martial qualities of the Pashtuns, particularly their independence, courage, and perceived noble bearing. Elphinstone's initial observations laid the groundwork for this stereotype, which Edwards and Oliver perpetuated, influencing British recruitment and frontier policy. 3. Strategic geography. The Indus River, the Suleiman Mountains, and key passes like the Gamal and Zam were constantly emphasized as defining features, dictating trade routes, settlement patterns, and military strategy. Di Khan, Draban's value, lay in its position connecting plains and highlands. 4. Cultural complexity overlooked. While documenting tribes, they often overlooked internal diversity and non-tribal communities. Significant populations like the Saraiki-speaking majority received scant attention. Their focus was on groups perceived as politically or militarily significant to colonial control. 5. From exploration to administration, the evolution in perspective is stark. Elphinstone was an explorer in a foreign land. Edwards was a conqueror, a nascent administrator, imposing order during rebellion. Oliver represented the mature colonial bureaucracy seeking to systematize knowledge for long-term indirect control through tribal politics and infrastructure. Conclusion. Legacies of Imperial Gaze. The accounts of Elphinstone, Edwards, and Oliver provide indispensable, if filtered, records of Dera Ismail Khan and its surroundings during a century of upheaval. They captured the dynamism of tribal societies, the importance of ancient trade routes, the strategic imperatives of geography, and the profound impact of colonial annexation and administration. Edwards's clarification of Draban as Durubund remains a vital linguistic and historical contribution directly tied to local miankhel sherani dynamics. However, these narratives were instruments of empire shaped by the frontier governmentality that sought to render a complex region legible and manageable for British rulers. They prioritized information useful for control, often reinforcing stereotypes like the Martial Pathan, and marginalizing communities outside their immediate administrative or military concerns. As such, they stand as powerful but partial testaments, reflecting not only the realities of 19th century Di Khan, but also the priorities and prejudices of the imperial observers who documented it. Their writings cemented the region's image in the colonial imagination as a rugged, tribal frontier, an image that continues to resonate, for better or worse, in historical understanding today.